Hello and welcome. I'm James Milan, and it is my pleasure to welcome back to our studio Evan Falchuk, who was the United Independent Party candidate for governor in this recent election. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
So things, lots of things happened since the last time that you were in here, the most important of which, of course, is that the election itself occurred. You had mentioned at the time that you were talking to me last that a 3% margin, or 3% of the voters was at least what you were aiming for, at least. Can you remind us why that is and what the effects are?
Absolutely. So I ran as the candidate of a new party that is now an official party here in Massachusetts called the United Independent Party. We're just regular voters who felt as if the system was not representing people anymore and that we needed to build a framework in order to elect new candidates who would. And so to do that, you've got to get 3% of the vote in a statewide election, which we did on November 4th. I think in anything, if you work hard and you listen to what people have to say and you respect them and you show up, it makes a big difference, number one. Most campaigns aren't run that way anymore. They're run via TV ad and some media appearances, but not that much. Not a lot of going out there and actually meeting with people and talking with them. I think what voters want and what they're hungry for is candidates that will just be real. That will just level with voters and treat them like adults, which they are. And it's missing. So every time you hear a vague soundbite, you're turned off. Every time you see a negative TV ad, or even the positive ad that doesn't tell you anything about the candidate, you say, why should I bother voting? They're all the same. But it's like any other entrepreneurial thing. Nothing exists until someone goes and creates it. So those of us that have been working on building the United Independent Party, and that work is continuing all the time and will continue into the future, are based on those principles and those values. What I hope is that we can be a model that other people can look at and say, that's the way to do it.
So Republicans, Democrats, obviously, they don't have any incentive for the system to change. If it's going to happen at all, it's got to come from...
It's got to come from the outside, and it can't come from people saying, well, I'm just going to be on my own trying to take this on. We need to build and organize and mobilize for this kind of positive change. And it can happen, and it can be done.
To wrap up, let me just ask you to speculate on a budding Evan Falchuk out there somewhere. What would you say to him or her? What advice do you give them for taking on this same kind of challenge?
Be persistent. Do not give up. Stay true to your beliefs. Don't look for people that will tell you that there are shortcuts that don't exist. And if you're one of those people, send an email to contact@unitedindependent.org because we want to talk to you. We need the help and support of ambitious, persistent people who just want to do what's right in creating this party. That's what we're about. And we really look forward to earning the support of so many people across the state over the next period of time.
Well, once again, it was a great pleasure having you here. It's nice to feel like we're having some straight talk around political issues, and we appreciate that. We do want to thank Evan Falchuk very much for coming back in. I suspect we are going to be hearing more from him and his party in the future, and we look forward to it. For Arlington Public News, this is James Milan, and we thank you for joining us.